Okay. Saad, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
So let's start with the today's newspaper analysis. Sorry, the question paper discussion. Can you see the question paper on the screen? Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
I think this is GS paper 1 question paper. Anybody is having GS paper 2?
Yes, sir. Gurupur असेल sir मी पाठवलं होतं काल.
Okay, I got it. Okay, can you see it on your screen now?
Yes, sir.
Sagar, Anand, Saad, can you all see the question paper on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So let's start with GS paper 2 questions. GS paper 2 majorly consists of 4 to 5 important topics, that is constitution, then social justice, international relations, and then welfare. These are the 4 to 5 topics in GS paper 2. So let's see from which topic which questions have been asked in this year's men's exam. The first question is with respect to the Indian judiciary. So constitutionally guaranteed judicial independence is a prerequisite of democracy. Comment. So we have already discussed about what is judicial independence. Sagar, do you remember? You know, in newspaper continuously there were discussions with respect to the judicial independence. So what is judicial independence and how our constitution has guaranteed it? So the question has asked you to comment on it. So constitutionally guaranteed judicial independence is a pretext. Like why this question have been asked and what is the meaning of judicial independence? Sagar.
Yes, judiciary independence मतलब जो अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ जुडिशरी जो है वो फुल जुडिशरी के थ्रू ही होता है, तो कॉलेजियम सिस्टम के थ्रू ही अपॉइंटमेंट किया जाता है. एंड दिस वाज इन कंट्रोवर्सी सर, जो भी न्यूज़ में था वो जुडिशरी कॉलेजियम के लेकर इशू था, इसलिए वो क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है सर.
What was that issue? What was the
इशू सर
controversy going on?
जो जजेस अपॉइंटमेंट होते हैं तो उसमें जो मतलब जो पॉलिटिकल लीडर भी होना चाहिए, जैसे कि मिनिस्टर्स, प्राइम मिनिस्टर, अपोजिशन लीडर, तो उसे डिमांड था सर एनजेएससी वगैरह फॉर्म करने के रिगार्डिंग था सर.
Yes. So now why constitutionally guaranteed judicial independence is prerequisite for a democracy? मतलब में जुडिशियल इंडिपेंडेंस को हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने गारंटी दिया है कि इट विल बी इंडिपेंडेंट, एंड व्हाई इट इज अ प्रीरिक्विजिट फॉर डेमोक्रेसी, लाइक व्हाई यू नीड अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल गारंटी. क्या जुडिशियल इंडिपेंडेंस इज नॉट ओनली अबाउट अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ जजेस. Judicial independence is also with respect to, you know, that legislative body, executive body will not interfere in any functions of the judiciary. It is also judicial independence is guaranteed by not changing their salary, not changing their age of retirement, as well as, you know, we have also seen that, you know, the judges should not be appointed in any government jobs after the retirement. These are all the, you know, judicial independence has been guaranteed by our constitution, which is being, you know, debated by our executive. अभी जो current dispensation है, जो current government है, वो ये चाहती है कि जजेस के अपॉइंटमेंट के प्रोसेस में लेजिस्लेचर एंड एग्जीक्यूटिव का भी रोल होना चाहिए, लेकिन ये डेमोक्रेसी के लिए सही नहीं है, ऐसे कहा गया. व्हाई? why judiciary should be independent? Yes, Anand. Judicial independence होना क्यों जरूरी है? See, try to understand the question. Question says that constitutionally guaranteed judicial independence is prerequisite for democracy. Now, what is judicial independence that you understood? But why it is a prerequisite? क्यों है? आपको कमेंट करना है इसके ऊपर. Yes, Anand. Why we need judicial independence?
In our constitution, there is mentioned that judicial independence, क्योंकि उसमें एग्जीक्यूटिव्स और गवर्नमेंट्स का रोल नहीं होगा, तभी वो इंडिपेंडेंटली और डिसीजंस ले पाएगी और जजेस के अपॉइंटमेंट वगैरह में एक कॉलेजियम मेंटेन कर पाएगी.
Why there should not be any interference of legislature and executive in judicial appointment, judicial power, judicial function, etc. What will happen if the judicial independence is jeopardized? अगर judicial independence को अगर खत्म किया जाए, अगर किया गया,
involvement of executives from ministerial bodies will increase regularly, which will be harmful for
हो सकता है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को. अगर जुडिशरी लेजिस्लेटिव के कंट्रोल में आ गया तो हमारे
ठीक है, हमने ऑलरेडी डिस्कस किया, यू नो, in Indian Express there were many articles written with respect to that why judicial independence is requisite. Legislature will not be held accountable. Interference of the executive into the appointment of the judges, it may lead that the judges who will be appointed a fair judgment, they may not give, you know, the neutral judgment, and that is why independence of judiciary is guaranteed in Constitution of India. So NJSC के वक्त में वही लिखा गया कि इसको, या आपको ये लिखना था कि NJSC और you know trying to create a new system for the appointment of the judges in India is not good. And that's why to maintain our democracy, we need to have a constitutionally guaranteed judicial independence. Got it? And judicial independence has been declared as a basic feature of Indian Constitution. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
It was easy question, and it was again an expected question. ये expected था, क्यों? Because judicial independence was much in debate in the newspaper as well as in the parliament. Clear? Next question है, who are entitled to receive free legal aid? Assess the role of National Legal Service Authority, that is NALSA, in rendering the free legal aid in India. ये एकदम basic question है. We have already discussed about it. Receiving free legal aid is a fundamental right or it is a DPSP?
DPSP, sir.
Saad, am I audible?
Oh, yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes. So a free legal aid is a DPSP or it is a fundamental right?
Sir, it is in DPSP.
DPSP. Okay. Which directive principle of state policy has a provision with respect to the receiving free legal aid, and who are entitled to receive the free legal aid as per that DPSP?
Sir, I am not exactly remembering the article. I think it's 42 or 39.
Yeah, it is 39. Yes, Sagar.
Yes.
Simple है. देखो इस आंसर की शुरुआत हम कैसे कर सकते हैं? Like Article 39A of the Indian Constitution. 39A, it was actually added to the Constitution by a constitutional amendment, right, Sagar?
Yes, sir.
It has been added by a constitutional amendment when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India, and I guess it was 42nd constitutional amendment which has added it. Right?
Yes.
So if you could write in the paper in this way, like, you know, Article 39A of the Indian Constitution, which has been amended, which has been added by 42nd constitutional amendment, provides free legal aid for the marginalized section of the society like women, SC, ST, below poverty line people in India. So this is how you need to start your answer. Simple question ये पूछा है, who are entitled to receive the free legal aid? तो अगर आप ऐसे लिखेंगे तो it will give a good mark for you. The next पूछा है assess the role of NALSA. So what is NALSA? National Legal Aid Service Authority has been established as per this DPSP, and it has created statewide structure and district-wide. At statewide also we have the free legal aid services, and at district level also we have the free legal aid services. And it create awareness with respect to the free legal aid. It create legal aid awareness को create करता है. Then it conducts lok adalat, it conducts lok nyayalayas. There are so many activities which are carried by the National Legal Service Authority to provide the free legal aid in India. Right? ये newspaper में भी continuously आता रहता है. तो ये you could have written answer in this way. So what you are supposed to write? Who are entitled to receive the free legal aid? Free legal aid are received by people below poverty line, SC, ST, and women. They are entitled to get the free legal aid as per this Article 39 of the Indian Constitution. Next question. This was again a very easy question. Next question was, the states in India seem reluctant to empower urban local bodies both functionally as well as financially. तो जो अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज हैं लाइक म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन एक्सेट्रा, उन्हें फाइनेंशियली भी एम्पावर नहीं किया गया है, एज वेल एज फंक्शनली भी उन्हें उतने पावर नहीं दिए गए. Can anybody tell me this topic? This question must have been asked from which topic of the GS paper 2? Sagar, which topic of GS paper 2?
Yes sir, जो power, जो devolution of power between जो union to local body financial distribution पे topic है sir.
Right. So in GS paper 2, there's a topic called devolution of power and finances up to the local level. This topic is there in GS paper. तो directly question पूछा गया है कि the states in India, मतलब state government जो है, they are reluctant to empower urban local bodies both functionally and financially. मतलब जो state government है, they are not giving enough power, functional power as well as financial power to the local bodies. Comment. You have to comment on this. So again, a very basic question. If you have prepared basic, तो उस समय में आंसर लिखना आपके लिए easy. Now next question is comparison of Indian Constitution with other Constitution. एक topic है GS paper 1, paper 2 में. So question is, compare and contrast the British and Indian approaches to parliamentary sovereignty. So India is also parliamentary democracy as well as Britain is also parliamentary democracy, but there is a fundamental difference. There is a slight difference between Indian parliamentary democracy as well as British parliamentary democracy. तो parliamentary sovereignty को लेकर जो difference है between Indian and British, उसको comparison करने के लिए कहा गया. Now tell me, British Parliament is more sovereign or Indian Parliament is more sovereign? That British Parliament is more powerful or the Indian Parliament is more powerful?
So British.
Why? Why British Parliament is more powerful and how?
Sir, India we have Article 368, which is very hard to amend.
Article 368 is hard, or under Article 368 Constitution is amended?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you are right that British Parliament is more powerful and more sovereign than Indian Parliament. कैसे और क्यों ऐसे? Why Indian Parliament is not as sovereign as the British Parliament? That's what you are supposed to write. If a law is passed in Indian Parliament, it has to go through the scrutiny of the Supreme Court or judiciary. Like our Indian judiciary scrutinize the bill passed by Indian Parliament, and judiciary decides whether it is constitutionally correct or constitutionally not correct. Like judicial review, एक power जो Supreme Court को दिया गया है, वो power इंग्लैंड में नहीं है. Once a bill is passed in British Parliament, no other body can review it. So in this way, the British Parliament is more powerful than Indian Parliament. Powerful कहेंगे या हम कहेंगे कि ब्रिटिश के पार्लियामेंट में अगर कोई कानून पास होता है, कोई अगर बिल पास होता है, वो वहां की जुडिशरी उसको रिव्यू नहीं कर सकती. लेकिन इंडिया के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में द जुडिशरी, द सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया हैज द पावर टू हैव अ जुडिशियल रिव्यू. एंड व्हाई, ऐसे क्यों क्या किया गया है, ये आपको लिखना है. आई हैव ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन्ड इट दैट व्हाई जुडिशियल रिव्यू इज मच नीडेड इन अ पार्लियामेंट्री डेमोक्रेसी इन इंडिया. रिमेंबर सागर, बेसिक जब हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे तो उस समय में हमने ये डिस्कस किया हुआ है कि व्हाई जुडिशियल रिव्यू इज मच नीडेड इन इंडिया. Got it? So that's what you were supposed to write here. अब इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर कैसे लिखेंगे? Compare and contrast the British and Indian approaches to parliamentary sovereignty. So British Parliament is more sovereign than India. Indian Parliament has certain restrictions and has certain limitations. So Indian Parliament is not, supreme. We remember I always ask this question. मैं हमेशा ये क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ ना कि जुडिशरी सुप्रीम है या पार्लियामेंट सुप्रीम है? Who is supreme in India? Do you remember? I always ask this question.
Constitution is supreme.
Constitution is supreme in India, and as per the Constitution of India, even if the law is passed into the parliament, even it has passed the law by, required majority, required numbers, इसके बावजूद भी पार्लियामेंट में पास किया गया कानून फाइनल नहीं होता है, हमारा जुडिशरी उसे रिव्यू कर सकता है. Because judiciary will check it out whether it is destroying any basic feature of the Indian Constitution or not, whether it is unconstitutional, whether it is against the idea of the objective of the Constitution or not. That's what all is checked by Indian judiciary. So in this way, Indian parliamentary sovereignty is little, you can say, limited compared to the British parliamentary sovereignty. All have understood the context and the reason behind asking this question? Is it clear? The next question, discuss the role of presiding officers of the state legislature in maintaining order and impartiality in conducting legislative work and in facilitating the best democratic practices. It was also a much expected question. In the last 1 and 2 years, we have seen that many legislative assemblies like Maharashtra, Karnataka, or even legislative assemblies like Rajasthan, we have seen that the presiding officers, legislative officers like speaker and deputy speaker of that legislature, they are not able to maintain the order and impartiality. हमने discuss भी किया था इसको लेकर, कि जो speaker होते हैं, they are from any one particular party and they always try to favor to the political party which they belongs to. Especially it has happened in Maharashtra, it has happened in Karnataka. So that's what is mentioned here. Discuss the role of presiding officers of state legislature in maintaining order and impartiality in conducting the legislative work and in facilitating the best democratic practices. So this was also in Indian Express discussed. उसी से related ये question पूछा गया है. Clear? Sagar, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Next question. Discuss the role of Competition Commission of India. Competition Commission of India is a constitutional body or statutory body?
Statutory body, sir.
Yes, the topic, various constitutional, non-constitutional statutory bodies and their role in Indian polity topic in DS paper 2. So question is, discuss the role of Competition Commission of India in containing the abuse of dominant position by the multinational corporations in India. Refer to the recent decisions. So multinational companies, उनके जो इंडिया में जो उनका जो डोमिनेंस क्रिएट हो रहा है उसको कंटेन करने के लिए कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया को बनाया. सो व्हाई, व्हाट इज द मैंडेट गिवन टू द कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया? कि इंडिया के जो कंपनीज हैं वो कंपटीशन में, मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज के कंपटीशन में वो टिक पाए, इसके लिए मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज का जो डोमिनेंस होता है उनको कंटेन करने के लिए कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया को बनाया गया. सो रिसेंटली कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया गिवन सर्टेन डिसीजंस with respect to the dominance of the multinational corporations in India. उसी से related question पूछा गया है. So discuss the role of Competition Commission of India in containing मतलब रोकने के लिए, in containing the abuse of the dominant position of multinational corporations in India. Refer to the recent decisions. There were decisions with respect to PepsiCo company. There was a recent discussion with respect to multinational companies like Monsanto. Monsanto is a seed manufacturing company. तो उससे रिलेटेड कुछ रिसेंट डिसीजंस है कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया ने जो दिया था, उससे रिलेटेड ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया. सो बेसिकली यू कैन सी दैट यू नीड टू नो द रोल एंड मैंडेट गिवन टू द वेरियस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडीज लाइक कमीशन, कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया एटसेट्रा, एंड यू नीड टू नो करंट लिंक, उसको करंट से लिंक करना है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, ई गवर्नेंस एज अ क्रिटिकल टूल ऑफ गवर्नेंस has ushered in effectiveness, transparency and accountability. Do you remember? Always say e-governance का मतलब क्या होता है? What is the meaning of e-governance?
Smart governance, sir.
Smart governance, accountability, right? Speed, responsive, transparent. So that's what you can see, that e-governance as a critical tool of governance has ushered in effectiveness, transparency, accountability in governments. So what inadequacies hamper the enhancement of these features? So what are the limitations of e-governance? ये पूछा गया. मतलब e-governance की वजह से effectiveness आता है, transparency आती है, accountability आती है. उसके बावजूद भी there are certain inadequacies. So this is the trigger word in this question. What are the inadequacies that hamper the enhancement of these features? ये question पूछा गया. Got it? Is it clear? Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now let's move on to the next question. Virus of conflict is affecting the functioning of SCO. Shanghai Cooperation Organization के function के लिए virus of conflict between whom? Who are the members of the SCO? Which countries are the members of SCO?
Yes, sir. 4 Central Asian countries and Pakistan, China, India, and Russia.
Right. So China, India, Pakistan, certain Central Asian countries like Afghanistan, etc. All these countries are having conflicts, internal conflict. Like India, Pakistan is having conflict. Pakistan and Afghanistan is also having conflict. India, China is also having conflict. China and other Central Asian countries are also having conflict. So this virus of conflict is affecting the functioning of SCO. So in the light of the above statement, point out the role of India in mitigating these problems. So ये जो conflict जो हैं between the various countries among the SCO, what role has been played by India in mitigating these problems? ये जो problems हैं इसको mitigate करने के लिए India ने क्या role play किया है या क्या India का role है उसको explain करना. This was again, जब SCO की meeting हो रही थी, जब SCO का summit हो रहा था, I think around 4 to 5 articles have been written in Indian Express. And that articles has explained that what role India can play in SCO. Simply those who have read those articles, it would have been very easy for you to write the answer. अगर आपने 4-5 पॉइंट भी अगर उस समय में लिखे होते, तो it would have been very easy for you to write the answer of this question. Clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Next question, Indian diaspora. I have always discussed about Indian diaspora. हमने discuss भी किया था कि now Indian diaspora is becoming more and more stronger in the Western countries. So Indian diaspora has scaled new heights in the West. Recently the British Parliament, the Prime Minister is Indian. In America also we know that Indians have scaled high positions in whether it is in business or whether it is in politics, whether it is in social activities, etc. You can see here. Indian diaspora has scaled new heights in the West. Describe its economic and political benefits for India. तो इसका India के लिए economic और political benefits क्या हैं? That's what you are supposed to write it down. We have already discussed about it, right? The next question is: the Constitution of India is a living instrument with capabilities of enormous dynamism. It is a constitution made for a progressive society. So illustrate with special reference to expanding horizons of right to life and personal liberty. So recently Supreme Court ने कुछ judgment दिए थे with respect to right to life and personal liberty. Right to life and personal liberty with respect to a choice to get married. Right to life and personal liberty of the LGBTQ community. Right to life and personal liberty of the people who are living on the pavements. Right to life and personal liberty of separated parents, etc. तो ये इंडिया के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने किस तरीके से राइट टू लाइफ एंड पर्सनल लिबर्टी को प्रोटेक्ट किया है, दैट्स व्हाट यू हैव टू इलस्ट्रेट. सो दैट्स व्हाट यू कैन सी. Illustrate with special reference to the expanding horizons of right to life and personal liberty. Right to life and personal liberty, ये जो article 21 है, it has been also extended to right to education. It has also extended to the people who are living in prisons. जो प्रिजन में रहने वाले जो लोग हैं उनके लिए भी ये राइट एक्सटेंड किया गया है. So that's what you are supposed to write. The Constitution of India is a living instrument with capabilities of enormous dynamism. It is a constitution made for progressive society. एक इंडिया एक progressive society की तौर पे काम कर रहा है because of the Constitution. Like especially this question, you should have write in the context of the rights given to the LGBTQ community. Clear? Understood the context of asking this question? Anand, Sagar, Saad, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now next, explain the constitutional perspective of gender justice with the help of relevant constitutional provisions and case laws. हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में कौन से प्रोविजंस जेंडर जस्टिस को मदद करते हैं? Is there any fundamental rights with respect to gender justice?
Yes, sir. Article 15, 16.
Right. And is there any DPSPs with respect to the gender justice?
Yes, sir. Equal pay for equal both men and women.
Okay. Equal pay for equal work. Then women medical help उन्हें देना चाहिए, social security assistance उन्हें देना चाहिए, discrimination नहीं होना चाहिए. Right?
Yes, sir.
Then women are given free legal aid as per Article 39A. Right? So explain the constitutional provisions of gender justice with the help of relevant constitutional provisions. So अगर आप ये 4-5 provisions अगर आप बताते, fundamental rights, DPSP, then fundamental duties, then
Preamble में है, sir.
some other provisions as well, like yes.
Preamble में भी आता है.
Yes, अगर preamble, very good.
Yes.
Social justice में लिखा गया है, very right. So कुछ case laws के बारे में भी बताना चाहिए था. Like case laws like Article 21A, right of a person to get married. Then सबरीमाला का जो केस है, वो आप इस्तेमाल कर सकते थे. You are supposed to write about 2 or 3 cases. Clear? You can also write the case laws of
current policies.
Sorry.
Current policies related to women.
Right. एक और केस था, which is again शाहबानो case was there. So that was also the case law. So you could have given the example of this case. The next question: account for legal and political factors responsible for reduced frequency of using Article 356 by the Union government since mid-90s. तो mid-90s के बाद में Article 356 का जो frequency है वो बहुत कम हो गया. What are the legal and political factors? That's what you are supposed to write here. So this is with respect to emergency power. Article 356 के बारे में लिखा गया. Next, discuss the contribution of civil society groups for women's effective and meaningful participation and representation in state legislatures and India. तो GS पेपर 2 में टॉपिक है the role of civil society, self-help group, etc. in Indian polity. Basics है, basic पढ़ाई करने के बाद you could have written the answer of this question. Next question is about explain the significance of 101 Constitutional Amendment Act. Anyone knows? 101 Constitutional Amendment was related to what?
GST.
Yes, GST. To what extent does it reflect the accommodative spirit of federalism? GST accommodates the spirit of federalism, or it is contrast to the spirit of federalism?
So it accommodates.
It accommodates. Sagar, what do you think? GST की वजह से फेडरलिज्म को सपोर्ट हुआ है या फेडरलिज्म पे इफेक्ट हुआ है?
सर इफेक्ट हुआ है सर.
So question पूछा है, to what extent does it reflect the accommodative spirit of federalism? To certain extent it has accommodated the spirit of federalism, but some federal issues have also arisen after the 101 Constitutional Amendment. So success of the GST का जो सक्सेस था उससे रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है कि whether it is been successful or whether it is not been successful. Same question has also been asked in 2019 मेंस एग्जाम as well, but इस बार थोड़ा सा अलग तरीके से पूछा है. वहां पे स्पेसिफिकली GST के बारे में पूछा गया था, यहाँ पर उन्होंने 101st कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट के बारे में पूछा.
सर इसमें सिर्फ अकोमोडेटिव पूछा है, तो हमें सिर्फ वही लिखना है ना?
नहीं, टू व्हाट एक्सटेंट, देखिए क्वेश्चन का टोन क्या है, टू व्हाट एक्सटेंट डज इट रिफ्लेक्ट द अकोमोडेटिव स्पिरिट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन फेडरलिज्म. तो व्हाट एक्सटेंट का मतलब क्या होता है?
अच्छा, मतलब दोनों लिखना है सर. और
फिर क्या लिखे, देखिए यह किस हद तक संघवाद के समावेशी भावना को दर्शाता है.
यस सर, दोनों लिख के फिर कंपेयर करके बताना है.
तो टोन ऑफ द क्वेश्चन आपको ये पूछ रहा है कि किस हद तक वो करता है, तो कुछ हद तक करता है और कुछ हद तक नहीं करता है, ऐसा आंसर लिखना होता है.
यस सर.
अगर उन्होंने सिर्फ ये पूछा होता कि how does it reflect the accommodative spirit of federalism, then you could have written how it accommodates. बट टू व्हाट एक्सटेंट पूछा है। टू व्हाट एक्सटेंट का मतलब होता है कि कुछ हद तक, किस हद तक पूरा है ये आपको लिखना है।
Yes, sir.
ठीक है ना। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, एक्सप्लेन द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट्री कमिटी सिस्टम। न्यूज़पेपर में या इवन इन बेसिक क्लास में भी मैंने बहुत बार बताया है कि इंडिया में पार्लियामेंट्री कमिटीज का क्या रोल है। वी हैव डिस्कस्ड अबाउट इट। फार्म लॉस के वक्त में हमने डिस्कस किया था नो, the farm laws were not been recommended to the parliamentary committee, so we have discussed a lot about it. Explain the structure of parliamentary committee system in India. How far have the financial committees helped in institutionalization of Indian parliament? तो वेरियस फाइनेंशियल कमिटीज के बारे में ये पूछा गया है। फाइनेंशियल कमिटीज लाइक पब्लिक अकाउंट कमिटी एक्सेट्रा, उसके बारे में आपको यहाँ पे लिखना है। अनंत, यू वांटेड टू से समथिंग?
नो सर।
ठीक है। Now next question, question number 17. Development and welfare schemes for vulnerable by its nature are discriminatory in approach. जो welfare scheme जो बनाए जाते हैं vulnerable section के लिए, उसके approach में ही discrimination. Do you agree with this? Yes sir. Do you agree with the statement
No,
that
sir.
development and welfare schemes for the vulnerable by its nature are discriminatory in its approach?
Sir, I agreed that it is discriminatory, but it also have to be discriminatory because we have to follow the affirmative action, sir.
Right. So that's what you are supposed to write here. So give reasons for your answer, that why we need to have a discrimination while developing the welfare schemes. Like why we need to do welfare schemes for women, SC, ST, physically handicapped, LGBTQ community. You cannot give the welfare schemes for everybody. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
Now next question, question number 18. Skill development programs have succeeded in increasing human resources supply to various sectors. In the context of the statement, analyze the linkages between education, skill and employment. So what is the link between education, skill and employment? मुझे लगता है कम से कम 20 से 25 आर्टिकल तो इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में ही आए हैं with respect to education, skill and employment. Right, Sagar?
Yes, sir.
So what is the link between education, skill and employment? This question has been asked. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now let's move on to the next question. NATO related question आता है? Anyone know why the question with respect to the NATO must have been asked? ठीक है, I'll read the question first and then I'll come to the explanation from you. The expansion and strengthening of NATO and a stronger US-Europe strategic partnerships works well for India. Why? What is your opinion about this statement, and give reasons and examples to support your answer. Why NATO was in the news recently?
Sir, because Ukraine wanted to join it.
Ukraine wanted to join it. Okay. Yes, Sagar.
Yes, sir. जो NATO है सब तो इंडिया के साथ भी बातचीत कर रहा था कि इंडिया इज आल्सो join to NATO.
Yes. So why joining NATO will be in favor of India? उससे क्या फायदा होगा?
उससे सर सिक्योरिटी मिलेगा सर इंडिया को, जैसे कि
Like why India needs to have a good relations with European countries and US. That is what is mentioned here. Like a stronger US-Europe strategic partnership will work well for India. Because अब इंडिया को सबसे ज्यादा जो खतरा है वो कौन सी कंट्री से है?
चाइना से सर.
China, right? So to counter the China, a strengthening NATO, because China को अगर counter करना है तो a stronger NATO is needed and stronger US-Europe partnership is needed. So that is what is mentioned here. That give reasons and examples to support your answer. That why a strong NATO and a strong US-Europe strategic partnership works well for India. Clear?
Yes.
The next question and the last question. Only 1 minute is left. C is an important component